Today's job is we have got a little solar panel in the windscreen. However, unless it's also started, it's also decided it does not want to run anymore. It's not got its little light on. The controller in the console is saying it's putting nothing out. The battery's basically sitting there. So we had three options in effect. Get another one then and hope that it lasts a bit longer. Stick another solar panel on the roof purely to run the engine battery, or the option we're going for is, come this way, the solar we've currently got on the roof. This is the controller for it, and it's a dual battery solar controller. So basically, leisure batteries go in there, solar energy off the solar panels there, and then we've got number 2, which hasn't got anything in it. So I know that once you've got battery 1 and battery 2 running, because at the moment we've got a little green flashy light on 1, nothing on 2, because 2 isn't connected to anything. So rather than go with another panel in the windscreen or buying another solar panel to go on the roof, like at some point we might increase the solar we've got on the roof, but it will all be linked in. We may as well use the second port on this controller. We've got more than enough solar going on. The fact that that light is flashing is actually saying the batteries are full, which if I go to there, yep, we're up to just under 14 volts. So those batteries are topped up, and they're the leisure batteries that are in the cupboard by the sink. It's okay, no worries. So today's job, we are going to couple up the engine battery to there. Okay, so what do you need to do this job? Well,
oops, trying to get down backwards.
Yeah, when Julie tries not to fall over and break something else. For this job, you need solar cell wiring. Red for the positive, black for the negative. At the moment, I am checking where my grommets are. And I don't mean Wallace and grommet, I mean grommets in the firewall that will allow me to pass those 2 cables into the vehicle. Because yes, I could go underneath the vehicle and pop up here and drill a hole somewhere and pop up there, but my plan of action is most likely the grommet on this side. We are going to go through there. We're then going to go in under the floor matting in here. Oops. So we'll take out the auto trail mat. We will pop these studs, take this step bay out, and we'll be able to go underneath this padded rubber mat, pass it through underneath there, or inside it. We know there's a channel there because we've had these out before. Through the channel, then it will come into the habitat bay. It'll be run along the very base of this little unit here, up into there. So that's the plan. So I think I've located a grommet on the passenger side, which we have previously passed cables through. The actual hole in the grommet is up to capacity, but there's enough grommet that we can actually score a channel to allow for the passage of 2 more wires without compromising the grommet integrity and without developing any leaks. The grommet is literally way back here under the scuttle. I've never yet seen any sign of water ingress there, so that's the grommet I'm going for. So basically the wires will trace along here, because this is some wiring that we've actually put in ourselves, hence the reason it's in the conduit. I will get conduit to case that in, but for the time being it will be traced along, attached at relevant points including the factory points, and it will then be connected to the battery. This battery is the old unit, it's going to be coming out, and rather than the single pole we have got, get them out.
Do you want video? Wait.
There you go.
Nah.
We've got a positive negative version. This one's negative because it's black. Basically pinches on the battery part of the pole, and you've got 3 outlets. You've got a bigger one there, 2 small ones. So this is going to allow us to actually lay the cables without having to screw into the terminal itself, without having to sort of pretty much extend the bolt with half a dozen hoops on, which looks a bit untidy. This will tidy it all up because these are purpose made. Basically they will sit between this plate and this plate, and then you tighten that down to suit. Nylox, so it isn't going to undo itself. And like I say, we've got this one for the negative, and we've got another one for the positive, which is hiding here somewhere underneath all of Tiffany Noodle's cards. Here it is. We've got the positive, exactly the same. Plate, 3 bolts. So small terminals go on there, larger terminals on there. Wallop, wallop, job done. They will sit something like that, because for some reason Fiat decided to put the positive terminal nearest the bulkhead. Wonderful idea, but obviously for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but there you go. Positive, negative, they will be going onto the battery when we get that far. Naturally, I will be putting a fuse at some place, potentially at the battery end, just for simplicity. It just means I haven't got to start cutting into any conduit within the internals like I had to when we originally laid the original solar. So yes, so first thing is make that grommet accessible for 2 pieces of wire. So I am trying to remember which kit has got the relevant tool. So we'll get this one out. There's one sat in the cab of the motorhome. But I think what I want is in here somewhere. Right, so we'll stop the video in there while I'm sure you don't want to have me.
Right, them are the wires. The negative and positive ones, what Chris was on about. What is just threaded through.
Right, so we've now got the wires through the bulkhead with enough on the engine side to safely and without putting tension on. Here, I'll take the thing and show you. So, right, so we've got enough here that we can track it across following those wires. Naturally going up. There you are, better if I showed you. So we got enough here to track along with all those other wires behind that relay of course. So hang on, battery. There we go. So that one has got enough to go to the positive. That one's got enough to go to the negative. And like I say, it will trace its way along with this loom. I say I'll get some more suitable sized conduit to put them both in, keep everything neat and tidy. Through the grommet there, so that's gonna track like that, and like I say, it will go behind there. It's difficult to do this and film at the same time, unfortunately, especially when it decides to hook itself up on one of the brackets to the so like I say, they will go behind there. It's so much easier when someone else is doing the filming for you, because it makes you concentrate on getting stuff in the right place. So that's all going to be fastened up. Hopefully there's enough room in that. I believe there might be, so I can actually use that clip, but the rest of it will be zippy tied to various fixed points along there. Right, so back round to here. So, like I say, it's come through the grommet, it's exiting underneath the dashboard. Next job is to take this step well out, take this trim out here. That will allow us to access this edge, so we can lift the padded rubber up, trace it along. There's a channel runs along there, so we'll probably have to remove the first aid kit, which we strategically placed there because I don't know if it's any other European countries, but in France, if you see an accident, it is pretty much the rule that you stop and you try and assist. So if we've got the first aid kit ready to grab, at least we can hopefully administer appropriate first aid. So right, I will cut it off here because I'm sure you don't want to watch me taking screws out, and we'll come back once I've got that trim off and the footwell trim off. Okay, right, so now we have got, where are we? We've got the wires running down this contour on the sides of the clips. We know that the step insert is flat, so we know the step insert is actually going to sit over the top of this mat. So as long as the wires are below that, which they are all the way around, that is the grommet that for some reason is missing. So it's now a piece of silver tape with another piece of silver tape on top just to keep the wire in place. The wire is then going in a hoop, and then it goes into the habitation unit for the 2 holes that we drilled, and that's it into the habitation unit. So next thing is I will put the door pillar trim and the step trim back on, which is of course this piece and this piece. So catch you when I've put those back in place. Okay, so as you can see, the arch trim's back in. Yes, there's a screw missing. That's because the plastic foul that it sits into decided to vanish inside the body, so that's disappeared. And the stepwell is back in, and as you can see, there's no major evidence apart from where that grommet's missing that anything's been done, so that is good. Like I say, we can tuck the wires a little bit just to get a natural curve. There we go, you can't really see anything there, which is always good. So we've now got all this wire in here, which is going through there. Okay, not quite what we wanted. We wanted it in the corner, but the corner is actually inside the body of the cab. So it's there, but we can tuck it across pretty darn quick. We don't really stand there. It is basically, as you saw before, it's a storage area. So as long as we've got conduit holding it against this lower casing here where the floor and the casing meet, we're not going to have an issue. So yeah, so I'm trying to remember, did I leave the conduit here or did we take it home? I will have to have a look in the overcab bed where we basically use it as storage and see. Okay, we'll catch up in a bit. Right, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. Basically, without the conduit, we can't really progress because the conduit's going to help us to actually stage where the wiring's going. So as we get the length right, because I ordered a 10-metre length, so I know I've got more than enough wire. There's no point in doing the job twice. So where are we at? We've got the wire long enough under the bonnet to go to the positive negative on the battery. I may well take that chance to swap out the battery for the new one that I've spent good money on, so I might as well put it on, and to put those new terminals on that we were showing you with the 3 takeoff points on each. Inside conduit to run the black and red as close as possible to that side unit. Again, conduit to take it up the door pillar and then tap it into the actual solar control panel. There will be a fuse put on the positive at one end or the other. I've not yet decided whether I'll be putting that on the control unit side or on the battery side. I may well put it on the control unit side, and it matches the one for the leisure batteries because that's up there. And if I remember rightly, no, wrong there. The one for the solar panels is by the control unit. The one for the leisure batteries is here. Where's my finger? Here. Sticking out this conduit. So we may do a similar thing with the one that's going to the engine when we actually run the conduit up here. Like I say, we will move that light and stick that light onto the conduit. When we put the conduit up here, I can do a similar thing to that. Where's my finger? To that, where I actually take a cutout out of the top surface of the conduit and we put the inline fuse in. That way it will be easily accessible and will also serve as a breaker for when we actually do the connections at both ends, because basically if I don't put a fuse in it, then we haven't got a circuit until I put the fuse in. That will allow us to connect up to the battery, allow us to connect up to the control unit without anything being live. And then, like I say, once we've checked all the connections and made sure that we've got things the right way round and ready to rock and roll, the fuse goes in. Fuse stays in one piece when they've done job right. If fuse goes and pops, then it's back to the drawing board and checking everywhere, making sure we haven't put negative on the positive, positive on the negative, or that we haven't stuck a screw in it, which we shouldn't do because we've not been using screws on anything. So the conduit will be stuck down with its adhesive. If that doesn't hold, I'll use some of the Silkaflex and then just tape it down while the Silkaflex goes off. But the conduit adhesive that they put on the back does tend to be pretty darn tough. All the conduit we've got here at the moment is running off its own adhesive tape. I think it's the 3D adhesive tape, so that tends to sort of be very good at sticking. I nearly said something I shouldn't have done. Thankfully I thought about it. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So that is the connection for the second part of the solar monitor control panel ready. Like I say, we're nowhere near putting the wires into it because we want to get the conduit laid down, and both of us are pretty darn sure we remember seeing the conduit on the top bed in the front bedroom, because we did move a load of stuff out when we moved out all the spare white body wrap that we've used to wrap the actual cab external. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's up there, and I'm pretty sure it's a decent sized conduit, so it will easily take the 2 cables. Hopefully it'll fit in that space. If not, I will have to have a think and decide where it's going to go, because ideally I want it tucked up out the way. I don't want it blindingly obvious. Yeah, I would say there's a bit of room there. If we have to attach it with screws as well as tape so as it sits alongside the other conduit, then so be it. You know, there's wood all the way up that door frame that we could in effect screw into. I'm hoping we can just do it with the adhesive because that's so much nicer, but we will see. Right, as Tiffany always tells us to tell you, hopefully you liked today's video. Okay, not a lot really happened. We took a few bits of plastic out, put a few bits of plastic in, drilled a few holes, pushed a bit of wire about, but hopefully you liked it. And if so, please like and subscribe. Subscribing costs absolutely nothing, and hopefully it helps build up the channel, so at some point we can actually start approaching companies such as the company that all the dogs have the food from, and start getting a bit of sponsorship, which means we can then provide even better videos for you all. Again, still free of charge to the subscriber. So for now, bye bye.